It just looked kind of interesting, so I picked it up, and they wanted $17 for it, $16.99. So I was standing there looking at it in the store, and just looking at the pictures, it reminded me of like a Japanese survival horror game, which it also says it on the back, but it kind of looked like there being that type of graphical art style. The next stuff I have came from a garage sale, and this is actually a really cool story. Not cool, more funny. Locally, we have this Facebook garage sale post where there's like 3 or 4 different garage sale sites for our local area. And I'm subscribed, or I follow, whatever you want to call it, all 4 of them just to see if anybody posts video game stuff. Well, recently I've noticed this other guy looking for video game ads, which for the longest time I'm the only one that did. And I wasn't mad or anything. I was actually kind of excited to meet a new collector in the area. I messaged him and said, hey, I saw that you had been posting this stuff about video games, and I basically tried to start up a conversation with him about collecting and all that kind of stuff. And he told me he was a collector, and I said, it's pretty cool to see another collector in the area, because I always thought that I was really the only main one. Whew. Anyway, so I started talking to him, asking him if he'd want to do any trades, and he said no. And he said that he only bought stuff, which I thought was really weird, because most collectors want to trade their doubles and stuff to get new games for their collection. Well, I quickly found out that this guy most likely isn't a collector, and he only buys to resell, and he buys everything. So I was going through the local garage sale listings, and this person had posted that they were having a garage sale in a neighboring town, and it's actually the town that I live in. I live in a really small town, no stoplights. There's only a few hundred people that live here. But most of the business and where I work and most of the people in the county live in this other town, which is the one that has about 10,000 people. Well, this post came up in the small town, and I saw that he had asked a question to the person on Facebook, asking if they had any video games. And the lady said that she had some Game Boy stuff. So he said, what do you want for it? What is it? And she told him on Facebook, and he said, I'll be over to get it. So I was kind of bummed out about it, because I knew somebody that was not going to keep any of it got it. So anyway, I went ahead and went to that sale, because it's in my hometown, and just started looking around. I saw that they had a book about how to beat Game Boy games, which kind of went with the Game Boy theme. I asked them if they had any other video game stuff. She said that they had some Game Boy stuff, but had already sold it, which I already knew. But then I started asking again. I said, so you sure you don't have any other video game stuff? And she said, well, we do have a Nintendo 64. And I said, that's perfect. I'd be interested in it. Well, she came back out with this lot of games. I believe there was like 25 games, a regular Nintendo system, not a Nintendo 64, 4 or 5 controllers, and 2 guns. So I started doing some negotiations with her, and I ended up getting it for, I think, $30 or $35. I can't really remember, but about $1 a game. Out of all the games, I ended up keeping 7. So I just thought it was really funny that this reseller didn't pursue the lead of video games, and I ended up actually getting this stuff after him. So anyway, let's go through these games after that long story. I ended up getting McKids. I did try this one out for a little while. It was okay. I got Faxanadu. I don't know anything about this. I got Bugs Bunny Birthday Blowout. Mickey's Safari in Letterland. And the game that was the most expensive out of the whole lot, which is, I don't really know why, but it's Mickey's Adventure in Numberland. I got Starship Hector. And the game that I put the most time into and actually beat this game, I really, really enjoyed it. Probably one of my favorite games on the system now is the Guardian Legend. This game was actually recommended to me by Ed, and I picked it up the same day that we had our discussion, and then I ended up seeing it on Michael B. the Game Genie's channel, so I decided I really needed to play it, and I just love this. It mixes a shmup with a dungeon crawler with some RPG elements. You can upgrade all your weapons, and I just had a blast playing this. And the thing that made playing this game easier, because it is actually a really hard game, some of the bosses are ridiculous, and it just takes trial and error to finally figure out how to beat them. But something that helped me beat them was I also picked up a Retron 5. I was really happy to get this. I traded in a bunch of crap, honestly. It was stuff that if I tried to sell online, it wouldn't have even been worth my time. But I took it into the exchange, and they ended up giving me like almost $100 worth of store credit. So I ended up just putting some of my money up for it, and I picked up the Retron 5. The really cool thing about the Retron 5 is because it is an emulation machine, there are save states. So basically, when I had trouble with a boss, I could do a save state right before starting the level, and then if I struggled through the, because every boss level was on a shmup level, so if I had trouble with that, I could just save after I beat the shmup level and right before the boss. So I could try beating the bosses over and over again, which really helped out. It might be cheating, but I don't really care, because it helped me beat a game and move on to more, and I really liked the game. So I picked up the Retron 5 as well. And at the same time that I picked up the Retron 5, I also got a copy of Radia Senki, which is a Famicom game. And the reason I picked this up is because, one, because I bought the Retron 5, they went ahead and threw this in for an extra $5. And this is like a $15 to $20 game. It is a RPG. So, of course, most of you know that if you try to play an RPG from a Famicom or any type of Japanese system, you're not going to know what the heck's going on because it's all in Japanese. Whew, I'm talking kind of fast tonight. But the really cool thing about the Retron 5 is since the second update, you can also download ROM mods, and basically you can play these games in fan translation. So I downloaded a ROM mod for that game, and now I'm able to play it in English, which is really cool. And if you happen to watch the Completely Unnecessary podcast, that was something they had talked about, but I think Pat was mistaken. He was talking about a price increase of the system, which I purchased it before it did the price increase. But one thing that he mentioned is that they had basically, in one of the updates, had taken out that feature, and that's not true. They had actually added that feature. So if you had been considering getting one, I really enjoy it. It's really awesome. I don't know what much to say about it, because you can pretty much go to any of the channels that did unboxings when it came out, and they'll tell you that they liked it. So I really enjoy it. Moving on. My eyes are getting a little heavy. So I do have two more Goodwill finds, and that will conclude this pickup video. The first is a copy of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, and Goodwill had this for $6. And I picked it up and kind of was holding it in my hand, thinking about whether I was going to get it or not. I did enjoy the first Ultimate Alliance. I didn't think it was anything super groundbreaking. So, like most times, the final factor if I pick up something is if I can get it for a better deal on eBay. So I look up everything on eBay before I buy it, because if I find that a game is, $6 in a store but only $5 to have shipped on eBay, I would never buy it in the store because I can get it cheaper sent to my house. So I looked this up, and it was selling for like $40. So I just thought that was crazy. It turns out this game is kind of hard to find. It's a little bit more rare. I wouldn't say it's rare, but it's a little more uncommon. They actually lost the licensing to make this game, and then they pulled it from store shelves, from what I've heard. So not very many of them were made. So if you've ever thought about picking this up and you find it for a good deal, I'd go ahead and get it. The last thing, an item that I never thought that I would actually own because I've never seen one in person, and that is a Game & Watch. And this is the Popeye one. I actually have some live footage of finding this, so I'll go ahead and insert that here. this up, the first thing I noticed is that the battery cover is missing, which that kind of sucks, but it's not a huge deal breaker, because the other thing that I noticed was it was only $2. So even if this doesn't work, which I don't know if I'll ever actually put batteries into it, because you have to get like the small watch batteries, it does have a stand on it, so it can sit, if I can do this, it can just sit like that on the shelf and be like a showpiece. So it's not going to be a big deal if it does work or not. I just thought it was really cool, especially for $2, because these in working condition are like $40 to $50. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool to find at Goodwill, and that's going to be my find of the week. And that's also going to conclude this pickup video. I hope that the way I'm taking these pickup videos will be a little more fun to watch, since I'm not just showing up the same games week after week of games that I'm picking up to sell or trade. I do plan on doing a type of reseller type thing to show some of the stuff that I picked up to sell, but I don't really know what I'm going to do with that yet. But it is something you can look forward to seeing. So hopefully you liked what I'm doing with this. Make sure to thumbs up the video, like, comment, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff that all of us like here on YouTube, and I'll see you next time.